Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Mental Health Warriors, the Power Hour of Self-Care. I'm Annette Chiappe, and I'm here with my guest today, Andrea Evans, who is a public speaker and a community leader. And welcome, Andrea. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Annette, for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's been challenging times with technology, with trying to get onto StreamYard, but you know what? What doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
I
So I'm going to
agree.
start.
We're alive.
Yeah,
We're on here. So,
yes, we are. So I'm going to welcome our guests through our intro, and we will be right back and have a wonderful discussion with Andrea. And we're back.
we're
So
back.
I don't know about you, Andrea, but how's the weather? We're here in I'm in New Lowell, which is about 30 minutes outside of Barrie, Ontario, and it's overcast and it's kind of chilly actually. What's it doing there?
Well, it's warm, and we have storm chasers letting us know, because thunderstorms and, when you have hot. And so we have some potential for some tornadoes around here. Other than
Oh
that,
goodness, well,
it's kind of, it's not as hot as it has been. I'll say
yeah,
that, but it is still a little humid out there. But it's cloudy
cool.
here too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope no tornadoes come.
Well, they say if a tornado hits in Lincoln, because we're in a valley,
Yeah.
that it won't be able to get back out. It'll probably get down in here. So getting in the valley is what my grandmother and mother always taught us. Oh, a tornado's not going to hit Lincoln. I mean, we can never say never, I guess, but
Yeah.
we have to respect nature. But we,
Oh, absolutely. It can
I've
be
never
quite
seen.
destructive.
Yeah, but they hit around the outskirts of Lincoln, which is pretty close. So we get tornado warnings.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I see that you have on the bottom there, it says your credentials and warrior name. I need to change mine.
Well, I just mess around with it, you know what I mean? Just, to
Yeah.
see. I just realized that you could really put in there what you want. And of course, I try to represent our Dream Achievers Arts and Science program, because a lot of people don't know what ODAASP stands for.
That's
And
awesome.
then the Warrior of Attraction show slash, because those are the two main things, in my schedule right now, as far as my brand and the work that we do at Our Dream Achievers. That's continuous. So I try to
Yeah.
represent both of those. I don't have a warrior name yet. Hmm.
Oh, well, you need to come up with one.
Well, I'm thinking. I know Dale said the same thing. Hey, Dale.
Yeah, also Mary is here and Robert is here. Welcome, everyone.
Hi,
And
you two. Welcome.
I wanted to invite you in my space. This is my greenhouse, which is my sanctuary. And I
It's
created
beautiful.
it during my transition from being a paralegal to being a warrior in mental wellness. And with this is the most amazing space. I wish you were here live with me and you could feel it because it's so healing.
I would love to be there in the healing space with you. Because we're always, we're healing, I think, every moment of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's self care. You know what I mean? You're healing, and that's a continuous process for us. So your space looks quite
absolutely.
inviting.
It
And
is.
I'll just transport my mind there. I'm there with you, Annette.
Well, I am going to do a virtual tour. I'm revamping my webpage to reflect more about where I am presently.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be doing a video on it about the space and the journey I've taken about my mental wellness and how the greenhouse is a huge part of that. But enough about me. Tell me more about Andrea. Tell me, I'd love to hear how did you come to become a mental health warrior? What is your story about your mental health? Can you share that a little bit with your viewers?
Sure. I've shared it several times on other shows, and that's part of being a mental health warrior, having the
Yeah,
courage to express what labels may have been placed on us, through our medical journeys. And so I've always been ashamed of it and always felt that I would be stigmatized. I didn't want that to hold me back. I felt like it would hold me back in life. I mean, probably 10 years ago, your degree and your association with different, groups in your community, that's what you were pretty much measured by, going and applying for jobs and things like that. So if you go in there and you speak freely about your mental health, well, I feel, and felt that you would get stigmatized, and I didn't want that for myself. You know what I mean? So I never really spoke about it. I mean, my behaviors probably made people kind of wonder, what's going on with her. Like, for instance, the obsessive compulsive disorder. I mean, I could see it in my life, and I can sit here today courageously and say I've had to figure out and continue to work on ways to keep that as a positive in my life. For instance, before the show, I was bugging you.
yeah,
Okay, I can, I want to make sure that I'm present and I'm doing what is necessary. So I might overdo it. Some people can't really handle that a lot. Um,
yeah,
so being courageous and also anxiety, which can lead to depression, and I've had a lot of losses, lost a lot of loved ones in my life, had a lot of really traumatic things happening with, to my family members, like seizures and things like that. Um,
mhm,
So I have to try to be a warrior. That's what makes me become a warrior of mental health, because I am now courageous and I'm now willing to share my mental health diagnoses and actually talk about it and how it affects my life. I've reached the Philippines, and that's mainly what we talk about, having true grit, and surviving through the things that, we have faced and we go through. And mental health, it's a part of it. I think for all of us, I mean, but I have actual diagnoses from doctors and psychologists in regards to what my labels are. I
yeah,
think one was even saying PTSD um, could also be a potential, but my actual labels that are out there, it's OCD, um, anxiety, and again, that can lead to depression. If I don't think I'm doing something all the time, working, I don't feel worthy. That was one of the issues that's probably why I work so hard and I'm so busy. You know what I mean? That's being a mental health
it's
warrior, overcoming that stuff and being able to focus on things to uplift myself and others.
right. It's interesting you shared that because I used to be a workaholic myself, and it's not fun. You're constantly battling the feeling of responsibility and guilt, and then you're overwhelmed with you're not taking any time for self-care because you're putting so many hours into work, and then you make your life all about money. That was my experience.
Well, I wish it was more about money on my end, Annette. That's the thing. No one pays me for what I do. It's passion, and whatever the need is, I'm gonna do it. I have
Yeah.
7 children and I have grandchildren. It's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? There's a
That's
future out there
beautiful.
for them, and I want them to have a wonderful future. So I feel like I'm showing them that even though I have these diagnoses, it doesn't slow me down. But again, like
Yeah.
you said, self-care, I didn't know what self-care was.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
what it
didn't
was.
either. Yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't either until I began I went the day I walked through the doors for therapy. That's when, people started sharing with me, the therapist and the other women that I would, do group therapy with. They talked about self-care, and I'm like, what does that look like? Kind of, you're
Hmm.
shaking your head going, huh?
Yeah, what is that? I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I started learning when I went to college to get my degrees, my human services degree at Southeast
Yeah.
Community College, and then I went to Nebraska Wesleyan University and received my bachelor's degree in social work. And I tell you, all of
Mhm.
the work and things that we studied has helped me to transform my life. I learned from them. If I wrote papers or we had, research papers to write, I made sure that it was something that I wrote about that was going to be helpful in getting to the next step of what my goals and dreams were. And it's to reach people and uplift
Mhm.
people. Um, I do that every day. So it's really not work to me. I want people to know that I'm empathetic in the work that I do. And so now here in Nebraska, lived experience is on the rise and it's more respected than a degree. In
Yeah.
some jobs I've worked at, my degree didn't matter. My lived experience is what mattered. So things have shifted.
Cool.
So I feel more comfortable and courageous in being honest about, hey, this is what my diagnoses were. I struggle with mental health. And being a warrior means you work on it consistently and you try to see it from the perspective of how it can help. For instance, OCD, it keeps me, and anxiety, it keeps me on top of my toes.
Yeah. Mary
Thanks, Mary.
says, yes, lived experience.
Yeah, that's where it's at now. I mean, I'm able to write contracts with Department of Behavioral Health to better serve Black, Indigenous, people of color, BIPOC, um, because of my lived experience. It's my lived experience they want. When I told
Right.
them my background, they straight said to me, Andrea, that doesn't hold you back or matter, because research has
Right.
showed lived experience is where it's at. Just like my friend and sister Mary just sat up here and, you know, sent a message to us about. Yeah, lived
Yeah.
experience where it's at now. So it's even
Yeah.
more it's easier now for me to just, be able to say, hey, I have some mental health challenges. These are my labels. And, even when I'm in situations where I'm sitting with someone that's trying to help me, like say housing, my worker at housing or something like that, I see them get a little frayed with me. I see their body language because I know I'm a handful sometimes. And so being able to say, take a step back and say, hey, this is what the situation is. This is probably why you don't understand how I'm reacting or behaving to certain things. It's, and I just say it's because, I've been diagnosed with OCD, anxiety, and then also being able to give them tools to better serve and help me.
That's a great description of how people deal with people that are struggling with mental health issues. I mean, um, if you think about it, our mental health issues cause other people's mental health issues to come up and forward. Like anxiety has a really huge ripple effect, like the
Hmm.
energy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, I was with my father-in-law, and he's 89, and he had he was planning, he's left already, but he was planning his trip to go to Nova Scotia. And I mean, his anxiety goes through the roof when he's under a lot of, like, he's had a life of military background, so he's very regiment in what he does every day. Like he gets up at a certain hour, he goes to bed at a certain hour, and if he's outside that box, oh my God. And then he doesn't feel himself lately very well in mobility, and with his health deteriorating. And he just he's starting to realize that he affects me and my boyfriend really a lot from his anxiety. So
Mm-hmm.
your experience with these people that you're working with, you're giving off anxiety and they're picking it up. I wish there was some like more education about that, you know? It's like where can we educate people about how to, like, that's how there's so many, I think, so many coaches out there and so many mentors, and that teaching people, look, you know, you have an anxiety attack, please let me step back from that for a minute. It would just do such improvement for humankind.
Well, I've learned the technique, if we want to call it that, of being able to share with those that I may be, you know, they see the anxiety and they're feeling it. I learned from one of my students who is on the spectrum of autism, and
Yeah.
you know, he was able to tell me how to help him. You know, if he had all his homework done during power hour, everybody else is there doing homework, he's done. So what
Yeah.
does he do? And they have to sit still, they have to be quiet because it's a study time. And he, you know, he wants to walk around and, you know, and I'm like, well, you have to stay in your seat. And I didn't have a clue of how to reach him, but he was able to tell me. And he was one of my closest students. You know, he taught me so much on
Mm-hmm.
how to open your mouth and get what you need and help people to help you. So I got that from one of my students. I learned that from them and brought it into my own life, being a mental health warrior and having the courageousness to sit there and tell a person, this is what's going on with me. You know what I'm saying? It's my anxiety. It's you know, it's obsessive compulsive disorder. You know, please forgive me, but this is how you can help me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think we just create our own. That's part of being a mental health warrior. Let's be the ones that inform the research on how to, you know what I'm saying? If it's not out there, let's be what we need, right?
Yes. And your resume is so impressive, Andrea. I mean, you've done everything. You've spoken on legislation for family acts, mental health awareness, effects of bullying, training, speak to therapists on how to effectively serve every culture and ethnic background. You've done Black Lives Matter protests, peaceful protests. I really commend you on what you've done with your life and with helping others. It's incredible.
Thank you. I want people to know that they can do whatever they dream and set those SMART goals to do. And
Yeah.
I am the lived experience. I'm the person. I'm hopefully paving the way and inspiring others. I know that I am, because my students still reach out to me that I've worked with in other agencies and tell me how much I helped them. And it helps
Cool.
me. You know what I mean? We're uplifting each other, so the depression doesn't have to come. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
have to show myself that I can. You know what I mean? So that's why I work so hard and do the things. And these are important issues, you know, and challenges in our community dealing with mental health. You know, I've worked with
Yeah.
students that we've done anti-bullying programming, or we've done suicide prevention. And at agencies, we've had to call parents because we actually hit on targets, students who were actually feeling this way and might have had a plan in place. You know what I'm saying? And you have to call. We have to call parents and inform them, because of course here it's a reporting state. You know what I'm saying? We have to let parents and staff and whoever we need to reach out to know. So at the end of the day, having those experiences with those students has been pivotal in informing the work that I do, and the way that
Yeah.
I move. Being out here on the ground with people and hearing their stories. Well, with 7 children, it's always bigger than me. They probably been through it. I probably been through it. So that's when the lived experience and empathy takes place. And it creates a
Yeah.
great way to build relationships with your villagers in your community. So it's uplifting for everybody, even me. I learned so much, and I don't, what is there to be depressed about? Like you said, I look at my resume and it's like, Andrea, you've done a heck of a job, and you're leaving a great legacy for for my children and so many
Yeah.
others. So yeah, I want you to know that the morning of the 4th of July here in Lincoln, Nebraska, there was a rally, and I was asked to speak at it, to represent the Lincoln Women's March Committee, because I'm a member. And I wrote a poem because I know I would have got quite emotional speaking, just trying to speak about it, and it would have caused
Yeah.
me anxiety and stress. So how did I overcome it and become a warrior? I'm good at spoken word. It's okay for me to stand there and read it. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
share it. But the passion that I bring to the poetry, I read a poem that I had written originally, Take Your Hands Off My Body. So that adds to
Oh, I'd
my
love to hear
speaking
that.
resume. Yes. Well, I don't know. You want to hear it now or?
No, you can send it to me, but
Okay.
I really would see. I'm a survivor. I don't know if I should call myself a survivor, but I was. My family was there was incest, so not having a voice as a young person, I literally can relate to that paragraph because I never was able to say that when I needed to, and but I did find my voice when I met my ex-husband, and my when I shared my story with him, he helped me get better from like end the violence against me from my family. But
Wow.
it was really scary trying to find a voice to share that with somebody when it's so much shame and guilt around it. And I wasn't taught that my body was my own. So yeah, please send me that poem. I would love to read it.
I will. And I just want you to know it comes from, I was inspired by my shiro and my 25th cousin, Jane Elliott. I talked and called her and talked with her about the poem and the
Yeah.
perspective I wanted to take, which it's based on the book by Ben Wattenberg called The
Hmm.
Birth Dearth. And it's basically, breaking it down to the idea that this is an attack on white women and their rights for sure, because, they're trying to keep the status quo. And,
Yeah.
here in the United States, they're saying the growth in minorities, is the reason, for the reversal of Roe. And
Yeah.
I mean, we hear every other perspective, so I thought it would be an interesting take on what we're dealing with over here with the role reversal. No rights to your body. And that's why I wrote Take Your Hands Off My Body. Bans Off My Body is the organization. And I think My Body, My Choice is another organization who they're doing rallies all around the United States, but they're doing them here. So on the 4th of July, I was honored to, be asked to speak. And I wrote a written poem and shared it, and it was powerful. Everyone had their fists up. It was amazing, to reach so many people. There were a lot of people. There were hundreds of people there. And that anxiety could be a thing, right? But I put it
Yeah.
into I put it more into the empathetic side. I tried to
Nice.
mindset shift, but it was amazing. I enjoyed sharing my poem and hitting a point that I think a perspective that we all need to look at as well.
Yeah.
But I'll send it to
So,
you. I'll get it to you. I'll make sure I send it to you.
yeah, Robert mentioned that he'd also wanted it too, so maybe we can try to share it with through the Mental Health Warriors platform.
Yeah, that'd be
Hi,
cool.
Carrie. Carrie says hi.
Hi, Carrie.
It's
Love
so
you.
wonderful to see you all and all the support and love that I feel from this group. It's amazing.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is.
Andrea, you touched also that you do a lot of work for bullying. How did that come about?
Well, I was bullied as a child because I
Mm,
had a heart condition and a lot of radiation treatment. So by the time I was 12, I was losing my hair in the top of my head. And of course, students, they're kids. They don't get it, and they were very hard on me. If I was in the bathroom and I could cover it pretty good, but if I asked to use even one of my friends that I thought was my friend's comb, they would say, "Oh no, I don't want my hair to fall out." That hurt. That
yeah,
hurt. So to be bullied about that, a lot of the time. Other times I was bullied just out of, I think, other students' perspective of me. You know what I mean? I was scared and quiet. Maybe they thought I was stuck up. I don't know. I got chased home a lot in grade school.
oh,
Um, and then, they took our school of culture and shut it down, our middle school, and divided all of us. And I ended up, and they bused us to different schools that were majority Caucasian. So when we went to the
yeah,
school I went to, I knew this educator I could see the bias in her. I could see it in her, the way that she interacted with white students and then students of color that came down her hallway. I loved
yeah,
art. I loved art, so I took her class, and a student did something, threw clay on the top of the ceiling, and while she was before the class, it fell. Well, it was before my desk. I'm the only black child in the room. I don't know how else to take it when the student, who's a male, tells her he did it. It wasn't me. So she wants me to go to the back of the class, and I called her an old goat, made everybody laugh. So she put me in a broom closet. I
oh my
came
goodness.
out. Yeah, I came out, and because that I was shocked. I'm probably 12 or 13, and I'm like, oh, she done lost her mind. So I'm just gonna sit here. I'll do what she's asking me. I'll just sit in the back of the class. When I came back out, she drugged me back in there and locked me in. So I kicked the trash cans, let me out. And she comes in there and raised her hand to me. And I looked her dead in her eyes. I said, "You don't want to do that. My family will be up here on you so quick." And, I broke down crying, "Let me out of here. I want to go to the principal. I'm going to report you." I did
Yeah,
that, and I stayed in her class and it was okay. You know what I mean? But I'm the one that I had to have a sheet for every day that, I was good in her class, and I got a star sticker. I was never a
yeah,
problem in her class. Wasn't at that moment. She was the problem. You see what I'm saying? But I had to go with what they put in place. But I will say, and I'm not saying do this, everybody. I sat by her and was her friend the last day, and she was drinking coffee all day. And I was taking pieces of clay, putting them in her coffee
oh
through
my
the
goodness. The
throughout
things we do
class.
the things we do when we don't comprehend why people are mean to us, eh? Like
Hmm.
it's a reaction. Like we
Hmm.
react the way people treat us, and a lot of the times our reactions are negative.
No. And so, yeah, those were times when I was bullied. And that has made me want to ensure that students don't have to feel like that, don't have to go to
Yeah,
school in fear, or don't want to go to school. You know what I'm saying? And today it's different. I could go home and get away from them. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't be a thing. But nowadays
Yeah.
with social media, shoot, your bully's right there,
Oh
everywhere
God.
you turn. So I saw an
Yeah.
increase in bullying in the school system. And a lot of students and families come to me because they know that I'm passionate. I've I've adapted a anti-bullying restorative circle. They
Yeah.
allowed me to do it during my practicum when I was getting my bachelor's degree in social work at our Boys and Girls Club here. And I got to utilize it with the older students, but I actually wrote more about the circle process with the younger students. So they allowed me to do my practicum with the younger students. And I saw the prevalence. I saw the bullying increase, and I'm seeing them get in trouble. And so I go to the superiors, and I say, look, I have to do a practicum project. Could it be this? And they said, yeah. So within 8 weeks, those students, they had empathy, because the question that changed the way I looked at it, because I was like, get them out of here. They're bullies, zero tolerance, get them out. In my research, I realized that's not realistic. We want to
Hmm.
help. There's something underlying. And the question, why are you doing it? Why are you exhibiting? And I'm not going to call a person a bully anymore. We will say a person exhibiting bullying behavior, because it's a behavior. There's a reason for it. Once we did
Yes.
a circle about why, those students grew empathy. And there were some horrific things that those children were going through that then caused them to exhibit the bullying behavior. And I mean, some of those instances we had to call parents about, because there
Yeah.
was some deep stuff that came up, but it built empathy. And I saw the ones that were targets of the bullying. I saw their eyes melt. I saw the empathy grow within them.
Yeah.
And so now, through our Dream Achievers Arts and Science program, it's a process of a parent will come and let me know. I'll reach out to the school. I don't disclose, they're going to sign a disclosure agreement, and for if I wanted to, but I don't. I don't use the name. I just let them know what's going on in their school. And I try to be that advocate to bring them together so that they can end it. And guess what? It's working. One family, one
Awesome.
student at a time, we are actually eliminating bullying in our school system.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for that, Andrea. That's an incredible story. And
Thank you.
I myself have experienced bullying as a young child too, and it changes you. You don't realize how deeply it affects you. And then to learning compassion at like 50 years of age, you know, and I went through 12-step programs and did the, making amends to others and myself and everything. And I gotta admit, first reaction you get when you're going through trying to forgive people for doing these things to you is you're angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt all the anger come out of me. Robert has been, messaging here his long texts, and he's talking about how he was frustrated and how he experienced bullying, and how it fuels depression and stuff. So, it's a miracle that there are people like yourself, and I like to include myself as a warrior as well, that are out there advocating to educate not only the person being bullied, but we can also reach the people with the behavior. And it's the same thing with an abuser. In other senses, it's a behavior. It's the
Mm-hmm.
behavior. I never talked to children like I used to do early childhood education,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't talk to children that they were bad. It was their behavior that you didn't like,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
That's right.
it's the same for bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, very very
Yeah.
cool topic.
Thank you. It is
So
the
tell
same.
me a little bit about it. It's a great topic. Tell me a little bit what your own self-care looks like, because since my show is about self-care,
I
I would
know.
like to know how Andrea does self-care.
Well, I didn't know about self-care, and I'm, quite honestly, like you said, I get in my 50s, and now I'm trying to realize I need self-care because I'm falling apart. I found myself at the lowest point where I wanted to leave the earth. And I mean, that's another thing that I work with is the Federation of Suicide Prevention,
Yeah,
because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
wanted to. And so at the end of the day, it took me to take care of myself to get out of it. You know what I mean? To pull myself up. And it wasn't me pulling myself up. I have my spirituality, that I believe in. And in that moment, I felt the Lord was before me, and I felt my guardian angel, who was my grandmother, was right there with her wings around me, encouraging me to get out of that situation, get some rest, because lack of sleep was part of the problem. So self-care means get some rest. Let's reevaluate this, tomorrow. Let's see how you're feeling tomorrow. Because what I did, I was able to call my family. I was able to call my mother. I've never been able to call anyone. I would just try to deal with it myself. So being able to, that self-care was reaching out to each and every last one of them and saying, I need help. I don't feel
yeah,
supported. I feel like I have to go somewhere where someone can lift me back up and put me back together again. Um, Once I did
Are
that,
you saying that self-care is part of speaking to people when you need it instead of just
open your mouth.
withdrawing and getting into depression?
That's right. See, it goes back to my teachings from my mother and my grandmother. If you open
Yeah,
your mouth, if you don't open your mouth, you won't get fed. So all that time, I never opened my mouth. I just figured, oh, they know what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, not realizing it's not all about me. They have a life of their own, looking at the big picture and
yeah,
realizing that if I don't open my mouth, and when I had the courage to do it, yes, going to the people that have your back the most and letting them know, hey, I'm not okay. Being able to do that, being able to say you're not, who,
hmm,
being able to say, look, I'm in a bad place. I don't want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? That's
yeah,
hard so that's part of self-care. Definitely opening your mouth and getting your needs met. If I
yeah,
don't, I realized when I did it how supportive everybody was, and it has changed the whole trajectory of how we communicate and deal with each other as a family. It has increased our empathy for one another. See, everybody sees me as the strength, and she can handle everything because that's what I portrayed. Afraid
yeah,
to portray when I'm weak, or, well, let's not say weak, because you can be strong in that moment and get the self-care that you need from others and yourself. So then getting in another way that I I do self-care is, as you said, in that we work. You know, um, Ideas that come up that goes with any programming I'm doing, I'm on it. But
yeah,
realizing that I can't continue to work from sun up to sundown and just take little naps here and there. You know what I'm saying? I could
yeah,
see it was worse on my mental health. I'm not seeing things clearly because I'm tired. And
yeah,
that was one of the things
yeah. I
in the
was,
situation I discussed. Yeah. Rest, taking care of your
yeah,
rest.
I was just talking to Adam about that today. With all our mess up with the time zones and stuff, I
Yes.
had frustrated him so badly, the poor man. But
Oh,
he's so tired,
yeah.
and I said, "Oh, you should take the summer off." But we are not ready to stop until we're sometimes we're forced to stop. Like our
Hmm.
health. Oh my God! Like I'm going through a battle with arthritis now. That's what I
Mm,
believe it to be. My doctor keeps telling me that's what it is, but my body is the first thing that I tune into to learn when my mental wellness is just deteriorating.
mm-hmm.
And with the aches and pains, and then it forces me to slow down and do
Mm-hmm.
self-care.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. It'll force you. It
oh
will
yeah,
force you. And I
yeah,
experienced that too. So we don't want to have to be forced. So now I am willing, like when I'm getting into something that I'm passionate about and I'm working on and it feels good, I have to be able to tell myself, Andrea, stop. That's where it began, the self-care
yeah,
of that. And then turning it into actually scheduling the times that I'm going to end work for the day and sticking
yeah,
to it. Um,
yeah,
I'm my own boss pretty much. So at the end of the day, I don't, I try not to schedule anything on Fridays. And so, that day, if something emergency comes up or someone ask me a day prior, maybe I'll, show up to something, but that's my
right.
choice. And I can say no. I know how to say
Yes,
no.
yes. Yeah,
Resting,
and
I
so,
write poetry,
cool.
I draw, I
So,
sing, I
oh,
dance.
do you draw as well?
Yes,
I
I
haven't
love to
shared
draw.
with you my coloring books yet, have I?
No, I love coloring books.
Well, would you? Well, there you have to go onto my website and check them out.
I
They're
will.
amazing. I could show them to you here, but I have to leave the camera for a second. Would you like to see them?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You entertain the viewers.
Well, hello, viewers. But, she had asked about self care. And like I said, art, music. Most of you that know me, maybe I'll be the art therapy warrior for warriors of attraction or for the mental health warriors. Because that's what I do when I go to events in the community. I bring, we do community line dances. I
Yeah,
discuss maybe traumatic events that might have happened in our community that we share, like COVID, civil rights movement of 2020, Black Lives Matter, when the whole world blew up. That was stressful to all of us and traumatic. So how do we come back from that? Well, I take some little instruments for the kids and they love it. And they do sidewalk chalk, maybe during the
oh, I love
song
chalk.
of how they, how the song is making them feel.
Yeah,
I bring students to come and sing and showcase their talent. I did research on art therapy. As I said, when I went to college, I did my research on things that I was going to actually do and try to bring to our community, and wanted to know more about how great art therapy is. And I find myself that art therapy it's a wonderful outlet. I mean, you could listen to, if you need to cry, you could listen to a song that touches your heart to get them tears out of you, because it's okay.
yeah,
And that's another self-care tactic that I use, having the courage to be able to cry, to be able to do
yeah.
it. Because I always
And
thought I got to be tough and they're not going to see me weak. I had my ideas of things that were also poisonous to myself. So mindset shifting is another self-care thing that I always try to utilize, as well as realizing that my perspective isn't the only perspective, and appreciating other people's perspectives and learning from them. Those are self-care things. Don't argue or debate. It's not a debate. Just
yeah,
simply say we can respectfully agree to disagree. That's
yeah,
self-care to me, because I'm shutting it down in a nice way. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. I've been in situations where it's been so like you can feel somebody on the attack, like literally they're looking for a fight, and
Mm-hmm.
I literally put up a wall
Mm-hmm.
because immediately I realized this is not about me. This is about whatever they're going through. Before I learned mindfulness and practice present moment, I used to let those things affect me so profoundly, like crazy. I would react, and then the fight was on, and I had to have the last say and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't realize how much that would affect me.
Yes.
You know, it was not fun, but
And
you know, it's a learning process.
It is.
Yeah.
And you said those two things. You said present moment, and what other did you utilize? Did you say? You said present moment.
I put I have to give you a scenario. It's sort of like when I go dancing, you know, there's a lot of people there, they're drinking, they're partying, they're having a good time. And some of them, they're trying to mask whatever emotions they're going through or whatever angers they're going through. And I will get people come into my space. And because of sexual abuse, you're very protective of your space, especially if it comes to men. And I put a bubble around me. I put a wall. I do don't react to how they're reacting. I move away. Right. So it's a mindfulness practice I do. I'm constantly
mindfulness. Yes.
Yeah. I teach mindfulness actually with I'm going to be starting this month with youth in the youth centers here in our area with the coloring books.
Oh, I love it. See, you're using art therapy. You don't even know it. Yes.
Oh yeah. I absolutely color every day. Like if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see all my posts of all my colorings.
And I share mine. Books.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna have to get to sharing them. But you said present moment and mindfulness. Those are also self-care activities that we can, you know, participate in. Because that's something that I'm learning too, that I'm becoming very good at. You know, when folks are coming from all directions and pulling on me, I want to say yes to everybody. But I know I can't. You know what I mean? I know it's not good for my health. So, you know, I'm able to say no. No, I can't right now. I have other things going on. Or I'm just taking a self-care day. You know what I mean? And being in the present moment. Hello. I work with that with my mom a lot. Like when I'm getting thrown off by something that's not in the present moment, I can come back and say, oh, Mom, I got to stay in the present moment. I got to stay here. I have to enjoy your love and your presence. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, stay in the moment. So what are you going to share, Annette? I'm all excited.
Well, that's why I created these babies. This is my first baby. This is Love.
Oh, that is absolutely
so it's called
beautiful.
An Inner Peace Coloring Book, right, for mindfulness. And then they have enlightened life messages like that.
Oh, that is wonderful.
So I have
I have to find me one.
Oh, I ship them all over the world. I have people buy my books in England. I sent the youth edition to Adam, and his daughter's going to be in my calendar, which I'm doing.
Wonderful.
And then
that's what's up.
And then
so you created these yourself?
Pardon?
You created these yourself?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I created them from helping to heal my traumas. That's volume 1. This is volume 2. This one, so the first volume is about love. The second volume, this one here, is about kindness. And then the third volume is called compassion.
Yeah, I need all of them. Yeah, I need all of them. I am a fool. I mean, I'm crazy for curriculum. If I write programming, so curriculum those are tools that we share with other people. To help, with being a mental health warrior for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Compassion. Yes. Uh-oh, you're not going to be able to get rid of me, Annette. I'm going to be all over you about them books.
Well, I'm glad you like them. They are my pride and joy, and creating them has made my life it's given me a fulfillment I've never experienced before. And it's proven to me that all the traumas that I had struggled with have turned into something beautiful. And it's given me a huge sense of self-worth as
Yes,
well.
yes. They are
Yeah.
fantastic. I was just thinking you was talking about a coloring book you went and bought somewhere. No, it's a coloring book that
No,
you
no,
have adapted.
I
Oh
created
my
every single
goodness.
drawing in there. I published everything. The sayings that are in the book are all about love, kindness, and compassion from my perspective. And there's
Hmm.
stories behind them, and I'll eventually be getting audios about the books and telling the stories behind each of them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm ready to publish some things myself. I have
absolutely.
a trilogy called Frassie's Novel, which is about my life story. And, I'll just give you just a taste. You were sharing about the
Okay.
traumatic experiences of being molested as a child and not having a voice. And I share that
Yeah.
experience, unfortunately. So I have empathy with you, on that. And then
Thank you.
to see how you take it and turn it around and create these lovely books. You know what I'm saying? That just inspires me that I can
Yeah.
publish the things that I need to publish, like my programming and things like that. So I appreciate what I learn in every podcast that I go on. You all help me to move forward in such a strong and pivotal way. You have a
Yeah.
pivotal impact, and I appreciate all of you. We don't do this, we don't do it for ourselves. It does probably help us along the way, but we're empaths and we want to help others. We don't want others to feel what it feels like to be bullied or to even feel the need to um, exhibit the behavior of bullying. You see what I'm saying? Reaching down to
Yeah.
the core of people through the arts, I think it has a pivotal impact. I mean, you see, I just kind of went wild when you brought your pictures up, your books up. So yeah, I'm coming for the books, Annette. Yes.
Well, it's I hope I inspire people by what I do, and the combination has finally clicked into place. Meeting my friend Elizabeth, who's been on the show, who does Tea Time, she connected me to Adam. Adam connected me to other people. Now I'm
Mhm.
connecting with all. I would like to have every single warrior and on the show about self-care because it's so dear and near to my heart. Practicing self-care, without that, I would be totally like on the couch, always depressed, because my
Yeah.
brain doesn't, like how we can't stop our thoughts. My brain just gets overwhelmed if I'm not focused doing mindfulness every day,
See.
and
Hmm.
it changes everything. Like, I had terrible relationships. I had I was estranged from my children for 20 plus years, and you know everything that accumulated caused me to channel it into these books so that I can use it as a tool and say, you know what, you're not feeling well, go spend 10 minutes, go spend 30 minutes on yourself coloring. If
Hmm.
coloring's not it, let's paint. If
Hmm.
painting's not it, let's go garden.
Hmm.
Because like Adam was saying, he says, oh, my rest time is gardening, and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. So
That's
each
my
of us have
mom.
our, yeah, she likes
Yeah,
to
gardening.
garden.
Oh,
And
and she's excellent at it. She's trying to teach me, by getting me a plant at a time. And I've done horribly till now. This one plant I've had for about a year now. So you don't have to do much but water it. So,
yeah, yeah. Here,
yeah.
let me spin you around, and you can see my. Let me see if I can do this without knocking. But which way do I go? Can you see my plants?
Oh, my goodness. Mommy, if you're watching, look how she got it set up, Mama, in her own area. This is her greenhouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
my
I
goodness.
have. I'm on a creek. I don't know if
Hmm.
you can't see it from here, but so that's the
Oh,
greenhouse.
oh, my goodness. How
Yeah.
beautiful.
And that's only
Oh,
the greenhouse section. I have a section that's in front of me, which is the chicken coop area. Like this place was a old, rundown, broken garbage dump, and I gutted it, and I turned it into this beautiful space where I could do meditation and yoga. And
oh,
I wish everybody could have this kind of space, to garden and to do
oh,
wonderful things, to
it's
color,
wonderful.
to just
You
relax.
said you're by a creek.
Yeah, well, you can't see
See,
it from here, but you can, when you go out here, you can stand and look down. And then
hmm
if you go out this way here, you go through the forest and you go down a hill and you're right at the water. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous location.
Oh, nature is another self-care tool for me. I will
Absolutely.
go and just, our little lakes that we have that are man-made. It's cool, at least it's water, there's trees, it's nature. Now when I go out of town and rent Airbnbs for our family vacations whenever we can take them, I want a lakefront home. Did that in Louisiana last year around this time for 17 days. That was, oh, you never find me if I was over there with you. I'd be out there. You'd be like, okay, Andrea, now you might have to warn me about what to beware of.
Where'd you
you
go?
know,
Where'd you go?
because I'm Tom
Well, and
Sawyer.
you know
I
what?
just, in the
We have a
trees, I'm
couple.
gone.
Yeah, we have a couple more minutes, so I
Okay.
want to thank you. If you want to share with people, they can go on to onto Facebook and find you
hmm
under Andrea Evans,
hmm
and you've got different links about all the things that you've done, and you're on Twitter as well at Andrea R Evans 1.
Yes.
So, and I hope people reach out to you and give you some more speaker events. I think you're amazing. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy to connect with you. And I will have to
We're
do
going to
this again
connect.
because,
We're connecting.
yeah, we'll have to do this again.
I would love
I
to.
want to, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now we're warrior sisters. Woo!
Yes, warrior sisters.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Annette. I appreciate you having me on here. To talk
thank
about
you.
self-care is helping me as well,
Yeah,
still, because I'll be mindful of this conversation because you gave me some tools as well. So thank you. And I'm
cool.
coming for the books, lady. I'm coming.
All right. You're welcome. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching, and we wish you a most beautiful, peaceful day. And remember, take care of yourselves, do what it is you love, and just be awesomeness.
Great
Bye,
show.
Andrea. Bye, viewers.